The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Want to bet?
Hold my bladder. Let's get at her.
Ow.
We create a mental atmosphere.
All right.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked it.
Right into a holiday weekend.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
baby.
is Mornings on the Beach on your Martin Luther King holiday weekend. You may not be able to get into a national park, but you still have a holiday, hopefully. We don't know. I'm Danny Lemos.
I'm Mike Stark.
I'm Melanie Ray.
And today on the show, would you rent a cat? Should you rent a cat? We're going to tell you about one town that started that and what happened. And also the latest updates on Fingergate. You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't think I want to know.
All right.
Yes. Yet another musical legend has left us.
No.
Fare ye well.
Oh, there's a hint right there.
I've heard her called a local treasure, and I'm sticking with it. We're going to interview local treasure Ann Wellman.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. She's coming on the show with us today.
Yep.
Oh, so we got to start. Normally we try to dump the Trump stuff, but we can't.
It's so hard. I know.
It's
too much.
You can't make this stuff up, right? You just can't. This week alone, let's start with the middle finger. The president giving the middle finger to a Michigan Ford plant worker.
Yep.
Right, who subsequently got fired, of course. You heard that, right? And then the GoFundMe raised $250,000. I'm thinking of flipping off the president if it pays off that well.
The GoFundMe game is so, I'm over it. Where now the killer of this person gets a GoFundMe and the person who was killed gets a GoFundMe and they're comparing the numbers.
Yeah.
That whole game has got to go.
But
That and
he lost his job, so at least he'll be able
Well,
to
he
feed
shouldn't
his-
have
I
lost-
think,
he shouldn't have lost
I
his
think he's
job.
just suspended. The unions come out and said they're going to support him. But
First Amendment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
really.
the truth.
well, and he also chose his words very carefully.
Sure.
He didn't call
He
him
didn't
a
call
pet.
it. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He just said that. Wow. But still, the picture that went around the world within an hour, right, of the middle finger up. And, of course, our governor, Gavin Newsom, decided to take as much trolling as he could
Right.
with that picture. And then I love the people that commented underneath saying it should be on every billboard in every city in America.
You know, I love that
I'll give money to that.
I love that they blurred out his middle finger. In all the images I saw, there was this blurry thing. It's like, this is the president of the United States.
Yeah.
It can't get more profane. The image of his finger does not offend me. The image of him as a human is what offends me.
And as a president, that offends me.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
you know, just that decorum, for God's sake. How thin-skinned and how tiny are you?
Well, you know what it is too is they faked it for a while. You know, if you look at, if
Now
you're
he's
familiar
given
with
up.
narcissists
Yeah.
at all, that they can hold it in to try to be appropriate, and they can only hold it in for so long. And now that they're in power, they're all letting go.
Now, somebody said there's an article floating around that's no longer out there, but it was, and people had screenshot it, about a low-level employee at the White House who saw the president walking late at night, kind of like reminiscent of King Lear or Richard Nixon in
Right.
the last days of his presidency. You know,
Rat King.
And of course, they pulled that article down, but wow, what does that say?
Well, that footage of one of the many horrible things we saw was that him at the meeting with all the oil executives, and then he just wanders off and starts staring out the window.
When he gets up, did you see Stephen Colbert?
No,
When he says, and he puts sense, he goes, this is what happened. You all been in meetings like that? And he stood up, right? And then right as he walks towards the window, he goes, and right there he farts. And when you watch the video, you go, yep, that's what he tried to get away from them all. That's hilarious. That seems so real. But yeah, that seemed like a very, very strange moment.
Yeah.
his brain's gone.
Yeah, you know, it's beginning to rot from all the McDonald's. Speaking of which,
Speaking of rot or McDonald's, which one?
well, first of all, there's a new food pyramid, which is now upside down, putting meat at the top, right? And of course, all the, what is it, Colombian beef that we're importing now? Somehow,
Right, while our farmers are broke.
yeah, of course, now it's at the
Ranchers.
top of the food chain. I'm sure it's horrifying. A large percent of the doctors. I'm sure, why don't they put candy up there, right alongside of it? More
Right.
sugar. Why not?
Yeah.
But RFK, our Director of Health Human Services, has said that publicly that he doesn't know how the president's still alive, given what he eats, right? And we're thinking, give him. I want to send now a large shipment of Big Macs and French fries.
Maybe he needs vegetables, and it'll put it.
Don't give him anything.
Send him into shock.
Right.
Right. Who knows what happens?
Oh my God! No, I just think this is the guy who's in charge of your health and mine. And I like to remember, as I'm going through this, that the last time this man was on watch, which is the president, we lost 1 million citizens. Over 1 million died.
Yes,
because
and they denied it.
Yeah, of course. But the auto worker who responded to Trump said he would have done. He said, "You know what? I met the moment." Pretty much paraphrasing what he said. So he said, he had that thought about should I, and then he just did it.
Right.
Yeah, he's impulsive.
We love it. I've often thought what I would say if I got in front of him, right? I don't think I would want to shake his hand.
Ew, God, that just
touch
made
him.
my stomach turn.
But it's one of so strange.
Isn't it?
So strange. This past week, like his brain is rotting from the inside. And
it was never that great.
To
Like
be-
in
yeah.
his height, in the height of it, he was always
to
below
me-
average, so that he didn't have a lot to spare.
And now he's really attacking everyone around him.
Yeah.
Like a trapped alley cat.
Oh, have you seen him in Air Force One when some female reporter asked him something and he says, "Well, you couldn't pass the cognitive
Right,
test,
yes.
neither could you," and then just points to some other random woman on the plane or you. It's just okay.
He sure hung up on that cognitive test, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, and the truth is, one of the doctors who previously worked in the administration has said that given what he's seeing, he'd test him again. Because the sleep that happened in the office the other day, the Oval Office, where he fell asleep while Marco Rubio was talking to him.
He's been tested 3 times in 6.
That's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not right.
He's been tested 3 times in a year, and which means. They're not, and he thinks they're IQ tests. That's what's so funny too. Is if you look at what the test looks like, there's actual pictures of animals on it.
Yeah.
It's not an IQ test. But he's. Ugh.
Stop. Yeah, really?
I guess.
We are you, if you're listening, because we collect all of the vibes that you're giving us out
Right.
there. It's like with the sentiment. If you open a conversation with any friend, of course, it so devolves to this. And that's either a good thing or a bad thing.
Well,
At
it's
least we're
the
talking.
elephant in the room. I have this problem with my friends too, where we're all terrified. We all see the same things. We all agree on what's happening, and giving it voice makes it scarier.
Right.
But then you go off, and then that just takes over your whole thing.
Did you see the image, by the way, of Greenland surrounded by Legos? So they built a wall of Legos around
Denmark.
Greenland to protect it. Say, we're ready now. Because all the NATO nations have sent symbolic troops, not like a whole lot of them,
Right.
but symbolic, saying, we stand together against this idiot who wants to grab this land.
Yeah.
And once again, just to remind you what is in those files, because he is just determined to make sure we don't talk about that. So we're going to talk about it right now. But in Hollywood last night, or no, the night before, his star on the Walk of Fame was defaced.
Again.
Again, pedophile on this one, terrorist, traitor, tyrant, all scribbled on the star. They can't keep up with it.
I remember during his first administration, I took my daughter to see Hamilton. And I was like, "Oh, let's go flip off Trump's star. Come on." And she goes, "No, Mom, we got to walk you," because she likes to get places early. And I was like, "We have time. Come on." She's like, "No, Mom, you don't have to flip off the star."
Such activities for Mother-Daughter Day.
Where is his star, just out of curiosity?
That was Pantages Theater, so it was somewhere around there.
Oh, it was close to the Pantages?
Yeah.
Right. It's 3 stars left of Rick Dees.
Really?
No, I just made that up. Rick's is on Vine. People are just expressing themselves. And I love what if you read Reddit, I recommend go to some of the right sites on Reddit just to see where we meet. Because where we meet is we're all sick and tired of this guy's antics.
Right.
It's not about policies anymore. It's about the failed tariffs. It's about my groceries still cost a lot. And NPR did a survey this past week of groceries where they've gone up in the past year and where they went down. Paper towels and eggs went down. Why? I have no idea. Eggs for sure, but paper towels. But then again, everything else, cost of meat, cost of beans, cost of rice, everything's gone up.
Yeah.
About 14% over the year. So there's that in case you start to get gaslight by the fact that everything's wonderful and it's affordable.
Yeah, and then, and they're murdering people in the streets. And
well, and then there's all that. And how did they convince, this is my opinion, how did they convince the family of the murdered woman that ICE was doing their job? Because they said something last week about, well, we're sad that my daughter died, but the government was, we can't inhibit them from doing their.
Oh, maybe her parents were her parents. You mean, or her wife? It must have been her. It must not have been her wife. Her wife was in the car with her.
Yeah, it's her parents.
She's got Trumper parents, right?
I'm thinking that, or did they reach out? I watched
too
many
anybody
Netflix movies.
Anybody who says that ICE is functioning under the law is pro-Trump.
Yeah, no. And again, that wonderful, what was it? One of ours, all of yours. Did you see the slogan under Kristi Noem's podium?
Yep.
Oh, no.
If you're a study, and I am a study of East German history, that's a slogan, meaning you come after one of our stormtroopers, we're coming after all of you. And it was the basis for Kristallnacht.
Oh.
So this stuff is starting to get frighteningly real.
Well, they're not bothering hiding it anymore.
No, that's the thing.
It's
Neither is
podium.
he.
It's on a podium.
Yeah, and he's flipping off people. I don't care.
No,
Is this man on the train for longevity?
And then, of course, this morning, as of this taping, he put out the Truth Social post that he is thinking about doing the Insurrection Act.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, and of course, he's going to piss off Iran. So, if you tune in on Saturday morning and you hear boo.
So is the Insurrection Act so that he can send troops in?
He didn't invoke it.
Cancel the election.
Yep.
So we're still a year out from the
He
election.
can do that. And he didn't do that in a real insurrection. So, come on. Again, boy, I started watching documentaries on Trump in the 1990s, and his thing was always about how he does to other people what he is doing so that he can gaslight you into thinking it's not him.
That's a
you.
narcissist trait too, and that's why I always think back to Pizzagate, and they said that there was a pedophile ring that Hillary Clinton was running, blah, blah, blah. And now here they are. They were pedophiles. I guarantee you that everything that he accuses somebody of, you can find it. You can find that he did it. Remember when he accused Hillary of the whole birth certificate thing? And when he did, you know what I mean? So just go through his accusations and he's telling you what he did.
Exactly. He's telling you exactly what he went through. But I loved comedian Andy Borowitz, who said yesterday, considering the Greenland situation, that Greenland says that he should go after Epstein's island instead.
Right.
That'd be the way to serve it up.
Well, I listened to Heather Cox Richardson, and she actually makes me feel better, because yesterday she was talking about how what they want us to do is comply in advance, right? So, because they're sending more troops to Minnesota. I mean, they're protesting more, and they're trying to show, fear us before we even get there.
Right.
And they're still fighting, right? They're still protesting. They're still in the streets. So that made
Mike
me
asked
hopeful.
me before the show started what I would do if I was in Minnesota right now.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I know that I'll probably be out in the street.
I'd be in the street.
I would probably get arrested because I can't keep my temper.
Mm-hmm.
But it could happen here. I mean, right now there's no ICE terrorism in Florida or Texas. You know? So.
Well, and there was a protest. I went to the protest at City Hall just last Saturday, and the protest was planned to protest Venezuela, and then came the ICE thing. So it's like we can't even keep up with what we're protesting. But it was disappointingly small, But you still get out there, and it is scarier. I think about it every time I go. This is the risk that's out there.
And I say there's more of us out there than there are of them. So keep that in your head while you listen to this music coming up, because we got to stop talking about this stuff. It's making me nauseous.
Yes.
What do we have coming up?
This is brand new music from the former bassist of Sonic Youth, Kim Gordon, and it's a song called Not Today. All right, that's brand new music from Kim Gordon and Not Today.
You like that song? Mornings on the beach.
Yeah.
It's where you're at right now for your weekend infotainment. I like that word. I'm Danny Lemos.
I'm Mike Stark.
Melanie Ray.
And in studio with us, we've got a very special guest. Yay!
Yay!
Our music director here at KLBP, Kris Kosach. is here.
Hi, everybody.
How are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on down.
My pleasure.
She's a real human in the studio with us.
I am an actual person.
It's great.
I am an actual person.
And the reason I thought it'd be good to have Kris today was because of what happened last week, right? MTV stopped playing music. So,
And MTV is where you worked once.
It is MTV2 to be specific, but we crossed over to MTV, so I was on 3 days a week on MTV.
You were a VJ, right?
I was a video jock. Most young people under the age of like 35 have no idea what that is. When I would teach classes, there was always a hand that went up where they would go, there would be the ooh ah from the elderly group of us.
And everybody else.
And all the young people would raise their hand and go, what's a VJ?
Is that like a vlogger?
What's MTV?
like a vlogger.
Yes,
That's
yes.
great. So,
yes.
where did you do this? Was it in LA or in New York?
No, sir. 1633 Broadway, New York City.
Wow. So, you were in
Yeah.
the big time over there.
Big time. I got
What was
out
it
of that
like? I
limo
mean-
with my two suitcases and looked up at that big, austere
kidding.
building
Yeah, yeah,
after they
I'm
had
familiar
hired
with it.
me. It really was definitely like a farm girl moment.
That's wild.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And your experiences on camera, what was that like?
You know, for me, it was really easy because I had been a DJ already for first college and then career DJ for like 6 years, I guess, 7 years, something like that. And so I just kind of I'm very good at putting my blinders on. And I just kind of did to the microphone what I did to a microphone. What I did to the camera, what I do to a microphone, which is, don't get over yourself. No one's listening to
Right.
you. You're talking to one person, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
key.
key. That's the key.
I
Yeah,
looked
that's
in
the
that
key.
camera and pretended there was only one person listening. So that's how I did it, and it was actually it came off very well. That's the big secret, right?
Now
To do it that way.
they do what we call in radio voice tracking, right? You
they do now.
You do all the inserts and then they insert the music later, right? Yeah.
So I would get a script on Monday. We'd have a shoot on Tuesday or Wednesday. We weren't in the studio very often. They tried to differentiate MTV2 from MTV. MTV would be in the fancy studio. We would be,
Of course.
Literally in the back of some
The broom closet.
like a sadism bar downtown.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you.
Whoa.
There was a club called Sex. I don't know who scouted this place, but it was gross. And they had leather stuff on the wall, and it was
So
gross.
80s.
So that
Isn't it?
and no, the 90s. This is mid 90s.
Oh, okay.
But we'd also go to cute places like little, vintage stores. We'd go to mom and pop stores, really, mostly, and bakeries and Little Italy and stuff like that.
So they were
great.
always kind of a remote thing.
Constantly.
Oh, that's
that was us.
That's actually kind of cool.
It was cool. It
Yeah.
was It was supposed to be very gritty and dirty and honest,
Right.
And accessible and real. So we'd be on St. Mark's Square here, and we'd be in Hell's Kitchen there. It was great.
I remember
really great.
being in Rick Dees's office
Which
at
was
Kiss
fancy, I'm
FM
sure.
when they signed on, right? And I never thought that I'd be in the studio with somebody who says, my kids know was a VJ on MTV. Do they know?
Yeah, they don't care.
I want to see video.
Well, there is video on YouTube.
Is it really? Oh, we gotta look
I
for
did
it.
a deep dive and not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, but there is some out there.
Oh,
There's a little bit. I
oh,
got
that's
some on
great.
VHS. I got to pull out the old a player.
So does it
Someday,
make you
digitize it.
feel old that they've stopped doing that now, stopped playing music? What, the end of an era,
Yeah,
really.
it makes me sad more than it makes me feel old. It just makes me feel really sad
Yeah.
because my son is Gen Z and our daughter is kind of on the bubble of the alpha, and the way they consume music now is
It's
just
so different.
It is, and it's kind of icky, and thank God our son is kind of starting to see the light with there's a retro love of grunge and stuff like that.
great. Oh,
I think some of the kids are starting to pick up on the fact that this is not something that you always make in your bedroom by yourself, but through through Pro Tools and yada yada yada. But you pick up a guitar and you actually play. So they're picking that up.
And I think people, especially if they're growing up right now, they don't realize there was a time when you didn't see music. You only heard
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And so it was
Yeah.
such a cool thing when you could suddenly see a video.
Yeah.
And boy,
Oh,
were
yeah.
they crude at the beginning, weren't they?
Yeah, they
Some
were.
of
You
those
know who
videos-
one of the first pioneers of that was? Mike Nesmith.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Really?
The
Yeah.
Monkeys, right?
Yeah, from the Monkeys.
Oh, wow.
Right.
He put 2 and 2 together and put film along with a song that's on YouTube too. Look up Sunset Sam.
Right.
He had a show on like
Oh.
cable access or whatever back in the
how
day.
was
I loved
Yeah.
music videos. That's totally my generation. I remember the
Of course.
Mickey, you're so fine,
Yeah.
which was like one of the first music videos. Exactly. Cheerleading right here.
Cheerleader comes
I
I was there for it.
And I helped wire the very first video bar in the nation.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. It was in Silver Lake, the New York Company Bar and Grill. We put 16 TVs together with cables and then broadcast from the DJ booth on this enormous VHS recorder, right? But that was the first time. Then, of course, Revolver followed in West Hollywood about 2 years later. We put that system in, too. I worked for the guy that did that.
Wow.
So it was something else, and it revolutionized going to the bars.
It
even.
did.
But now that's what's next.
And of course, MTV, the main channel, they dropped the videos a long time
Yeah,
ago
that was-
and went with reality TV
Right.
shows.
That was a bummer.
Right. Well, I have that to thank for a career, actually, because if it hadn't been them churning out people not watching music video and just watching Daria and Real World over
Right.
and over and over, then they wouldn't have had to create MTV2 or M2 is what I really
Right.
went for, but people didn't understand the brand.
Right, okay.
You know, so they changed it. But we were a response to that. So
Oh,
I
no
kind of have to
kidding.
be
Oh, yeah,
thankful
yeah.
for
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So this whole new thing that's happening, kind of, I have a different perspective because what turned sour gave me a career. And so maybe what's turning sour now is going to give somebody else a chance.
Yeah, you're right.
I
That's
like
a
to
great way to
think.
look at it.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What and between that time when you stopped doing that and you started up here at KLBP, did you go back into radio, or were you looking for an opportunity and so we came along?
I have the best timing and I have the worst timing. I always thought that, when I start getting wrinkles, I'm going back to radio. That'll be awesome. I
Right.
can smoke. I don't have to shower. It'll be awesome. But that kind of didn't happen because when I was getting ready to do that, first of all, I kind of lost my mojo a little bit, I thought. But also... radio was, going through that whole voice tracking thing, and Sirius
Right.
had just come
Changing,
into
yeah.
being, and it was all changing and getting homogenized, and satellite, and not satellite, but syndication, and all of that stuff was happening. But yeah, so it wasn't as easy to get back in as I thought it would be, and so I fell off that high horse pretty damn quick.
Now you're out in California, right? And
Yeah.
how did you find us?
How did I find you? Oh, I know. All right, I'm going to name names. He's a lovely man. Mr. Bluth, who works at USC, is in charge of the classical station over there. Mm-hmm. And when I got here, I started kind of reaching out to the people that I knew that were still down here in the market and saying, hey, you got something for the old girl to do? And the only one that did was like the easy listening way over like in Burbank, and I couldn't do it. I can't drive an hour.
Coast.
Like,
103.
and yeah, so I just couldn't do it. But anyway, I reached out to Bluth, and he said, I don't know what's going on down there, but there's something happening in Long Beach.
Whoa.
So I poked around.
How did he know about it?
He's I don't know, smart guy, and he turned me in the right direction, and I found it, and I sent an email, and then crickets for a year, and then finally heard from you guys, and here I am.
It's wild. I was telling Mike earlier, every time I meet somebody that knows I work here, they always want to know how they can get their music on the radio station. Mm-hmm. And you're the conduit for that. You're our music director. If you want to send something about it, it's music at klbp.org, not Danny at klbp.
Or me.
Yeah, we get a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Or me.
But
Keep
we
going.
do want to know. We do want to know what's out there, and we are pretty picky. So it's got to be good to get
Yeah.
past your ears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thank
I'm going to
you.
make my normal speech now.
Okay, go.
Right.
My
ready.
normal speech is
I love your speeches.
that when I started listening to this station before Kris came, it was unlistenable. There was nothing on there but music I'd never heard and bad music. And then suddenly, and my social media will bear this out if you go back into the past, suddenly the music started to change.
Yeah, right.
And it was really good music, and I was saying to myself, wow, that's some great music. And it's one right after another. And that was all because of
Yeah.
Kris.
Hey,
coming
thank
on
you.
board.
And when I got here, Tracy, our program director, had the station under her grasp. You had the music going. I didn't have to mess with that. It was so great.
Thank you.
And there's such a life to it. You know, when you hear it, like we were talking today, just listening to the station yesterday.
Coming down today, I was just
It's been
blown
amazing.
away by what I was hearing on
Sounds
the radio,
great.
and it's a contribution of a lot of
it is.
people.
It's diplomatic.
but the new stuff is you.
Right. And
Thank you.
we play stuff that nobody else plays in this market at all.
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and you can't find it. And people are beginning to find that out.
Yep.
As we went from, I think when I started here in 2018, we had 32 people that listened a day, maybe, if we were lucky.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
To over 7,000 a month now.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Isn't that
Let's
amazing?
keep going.
Who are those
Yeah.
people?
I don't care.
Let's
I
do
don't
this.
care.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Anyway, would you like to know, like, basically what happened with MTV? Would you like to know what
Absolutely.
happened? I'll try to
Yes.
do. Let me. I was practicing this in the car actually.
Okay,
and
excellent.
I couldn't get under 7 minutes, but I'll try like 10 seconds now. Okay?
Okay.
In a nutshell, when MTV first came on, you remember the tagline? What was the tagline?
I want my MTV.
Exactly,
Oh, that's
right?
right, uh-huh.
It was
We
the
all
big
froze.
one. So I'm sorry. Sorry, Mike got it. I knew Mike would get it. Sting said it. Mark Knopfler
Right,
put it in
right.
the
That's
song.
right,
It was
that's
like a
right.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was also strategic because they could not get on most of the cable networks because cable was analog. It was a finite space, so you could only have so many
that's
channels,
right.
and
You're
they
right.
couldn't get on. So they were trying to create this grassroots effort to get on. It worked. They changed the zeitgeist, right? Changed everything, and then fast forward to right around when I came along. They opened up that framework, and you got like 125 channels, and so there was this land grab that was on ESPN2, right? And Headline News came on, and everybody had a second one. You had to take, if you took Fox News, you had to take Fox Business, and on and
I
on
remember
and on.
that,
So they were all just like taking up the space. So MTV grabbed as much as they could, and that's why you saw MTV2, MTV Vibe, MTV Classic, MTV Hip Hop, again and again and again. There were a bunch of them, and that's where they put all of their music, and it sat there for a very long time. And fast forward to now, when David Ellis purchased it, he took a look at the model, which is a whole nother conversation I have with you. But he looked at the money, and the money wasn't moneying.
Oh,
You know, it
wow.
wasn't making
Yeah.
sense.
There we
They were
go.
making a little bit of money, but they were also paying for all that music distribution. Or the music licensing, rather, right? And so they were like, this is not a very good model. So that's why they killed the channels.
Oh.
MTV proper still exists with these horrible shows
Right.
on, right?
Yes.
But there's really no music, and that's strategic because it's expensive.
Right.
And but it's it's what they call a zombie network. I don't think they're going to let it go for a little while, but they're going to try to figure it out. And I'm praying to the rock and roll gods up there that he comes up with something clever,
Right.
and we learn, we get new music like in a TikTok scroll or something like
We
that.
need something like that to
We really
serve
do.
that people can find new music because
Yeah.
it's so hard nowadays.
Absolutely.
Stick around.
You'll
Stick
fix it.
around. Let's keep doing that. It's Mornings on the Beach for your Saturday, Sunday, right here on KLBP. We want our KLBP. Can we steal that? Can we
Yeah,
steal
there you
that?
go. Yes, it's a
so
parody.
They're not
Take
using it anymore.
Right.
I'm Danny Lemos.
I'm Mike Stark.
I'm Melanie Ray.
And over there.
I'm Kris Kosach, just hanging out.
Yeah,
Yay.
and we love it. So we started the show saying, would you rent a cat? And should you rent a cat?
What?
Good. I was waiting for that. What are you talking about?
Context.
This is regarding a pet shop in Hong Kong that was offering a cat rental service. So what you do is you could rent the cat for a week for Hong Kong dollars of $800 with a refundable deposit of $6,500. This is Hong Kong money, so it'd be probably about
Yeah.
500 ours before you bought it. So if you take it, you like it, you bring it back, and you say, I want to keep it, then you get your deposit back. So yeah. So, that sounds like a good idea, right? Well, animal welfare groups decided no, because how do they know what kind of treatment this animal is going to get temporarily and then hopefully in long term, right? So they're not a good thing. They're trying to shut the guy
That's
down.
a lot of money to invest to,
That's what I said.
to abuse an animal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to
There's
abuse
that.
an animal. I got this extra grand. And then you're not going to get your deposit back.
Exactly. So, I think it's a little overreach, but the post on Instagram said that you would get some food items, you would get some toys for the cat, as well as a one-on-one coaching session on how to help the cat adapt to new environments. And they said their promotional materials underwent their legal scrutiny, but who knows what that was, because obviously they got away with it. But the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals is responding to queries from the Post, saying it strongly opposes the concept of pet rental services, adding that while the practice was uncommon, it harmed animal welfare. So, but what are the positive sides of renting perhaps a cat for a week? Wouldn't it be?
Well, while your cat's in the shop.
I wonder if my pet insurance covers that. That's great. What will they think of next?
No, I was saying I was on, there's kind of a local kook who shall remain nameless, owns a bunch of properties in my neighborhood. And I saw him on the Nextdoor app, and he was asking to borrow somebody's cat to kill the rats in his house.
Believe me.
Just to borrow it like it's people's pets. Plus, cats leave. Have you ever met a cat?
I was going to say, what's the cat think of this?
Yeah,
They
it's
hate
just
it.
like, up yours.
My cat brings, it definitely keeps the mice away. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, but you don't just borrow someone's cat. And then, I mean, they leave. Right?
I'll actually rent you mine. If you,
How much?
if you
How
need
much?
to get rid of the mice. The neighbor borrowed my cat. Now that I think about it, my cat went upstairs to her apartment for 2 days and came back, and the apartment was mice free.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a brilliant idea. You know, on the
great.
East Coast, and I think here too, you can rent a herd of goats,
Right,
or
for-
sheep
for yard work.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
eat all the grass, so you don't have a fire hazard. Right? Why not have a herd of cats? I mean, it's gonna be hard to get them back in the truck, but
I also think in certain neighborhoods, the mice and the rats are bigger than the cats. So
Yeah.
it might be a problem.
we got a whole.
So you've been to New York.
right, right.
Jeez. I saw a rat that was the size of a real house cat right in the subway, and nobody freaked. Except me.
Yeah, that's New York. Yeah, that's a New York
whatever.
story.
That's wild. We did do a story back a couple of weeks ago about the dog park that they're hoping to
Right.
get in
Right.
Dogtown. We've had an update on that.
Okay.
Michaela, who was on the show with us, reached out and said the city's now reached out and said they want to present some proposals to the dog park group.
wow.
So that's
okay.
pretty great. Yeah. And the whole thing was that the Chavez Park is annexed to the elementary school. It's not an official dog park. Though when it's not full of kids, people use it to let their dogs run because it's an excellent space for letting your dog just run and have a good time. So they want to get an official dog park designated in that area, and they have come up with some proposals. So we'll present them when they come up. But at the same time, it did introduce me to a story. The LA City has a law that you cannot play sports with a ball on any park that isn't designated for sports with a ball. Did you know that?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So you couldn't take a soccer ball and kick it around a park unless there's a soccer field there, and they're approved for that sort of thing.
Well, I remember they were playing soccer at Bluff Park, and then the city put these giant,
I remember,
these giant
yes.
boulders, which I was like, come on, it's community space.
I thought it was to keep the people who were doing exercise companies, like their own company,
Oh, yeah,
training
it
people
was-
out there. That was one thing. But yeah, I remember that. And it's just one of those things. So it's like the same thing with the dog park. It's not meant for dogs, but it's wonderful for dogs. So
Right.
relicense it, or what do you have to do? That's my opinion. But regarding the city now, there are people that are going after, they're saying, we want to get this law off the books, that you can't take a soccer ball onto a baseball field, so to speak, and play with it. Yeah.
Is it one of those Victorian things from like 1932?
It probably is, yeah.
No spitting or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, because
On a Sunday?
who
Right,
knows?
right.
With a
maybe-
t-shirt on.
Or maybe, yeah, really. People were taking balls into places where they shouldn't and kicking them around. Who knows? If somebody got injured, who knows? But that's one of those crazy laws that we hope will get taken off the books. But until it does, be careful if you're headed out to a park. You don't know whether you get arrested for playing sports.
I know, of all the things going on
Yeah,
now,
no.
right? That's the problem.
And again, we felt the same way when they came after us with tickets for the dog park for
Yeah.
having our dog off leashes. Here's what we figured out, by the way, that there is a law, California statutes, that say a dog must be on a 6-foot leash, at least a minimum of 6 feet. Nowhere in that statute does it say a human has to be attached to the other end.
That's hilarious.
Find it. And if you find it, send it to me because we can't find it. I think it's hilarious.
That
it's
is
fun.
funny.
So Boomer walks all the way from home down to the radio station with trailing
With his leash on, yeah.
He's not going to bother you.
That's great.
But it's time for us to wind this up, this segment. Anyway, Michael's pointing to the watch. It's time for music.
Okay, here we go. This is a new tribute album that came out to B.B. King. This cut includes a bunch of people, including Slash and Miles Kennedy and others. And it's a B.B. King song that was actually done with U2 originally, and a song called When Love Comes to Town.
I heard the unmistakable sound of Joe Bonamassa on that song.
Right.
Boy, he's amazing.
A bunch of other folks on it. It's a B.B. King tribute album that just recently came out, and that's the U2 B.B. King song, When Love Comes to Town.
It's Mornings on the Beach for your weekend morning. Danny Lemos here.
Mike Stark.
Melanie Ray.
And we've got a guest coming in to
We
join
have a
us.
guest.
Another one.
Another amazing person doing amazing things. We have my friend and cohort.
Mine too.
Everybody's friend. It's Ann Wellman.
Hi there.
Hey, how are you?
Good. You have so many things going on now. It's even hard. It's even hard for me to keep track. So tell us what you're doing.
Well, so what we've got, coming up is 2 big shows over at the Long Beach Playhouse. Those are next weekend, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The first 2 shows on the 23rd and 24th, which is Friday and Saturday night, are it's a show called Mixtape Confessions, a journey through the beats that broke and built us. So that's
great title.
Friday, Saturday night at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have a matinee show called Wake the F Up. I'll say that since we're on the radio. And that one's at 2 p.m. So those are the big things we're working on right now.
What's the Wake the F Up show about?
So that show is experiential theater where we brought a group of 8 folks together and we did some deep inner work. We used the Enneagram and we did a little bit of playback theater. I don't know if are you familiar with playback?
No, what is that?
Tell us.
Playback theater is where it would be like where, say, Danny, you shared a story with us, and then Melanie and I would act it out in front of you, and maybe a little bit, and then we would ask you, how did that make you feel, or did anything new come up for you, or so it's just a way of looking at your story through somebody else's eyes. So we did a little bit of that. We just played around with it. They would dance out their stories. They would someone else tell their story. They would tell their own story. So a lot of it has to do with moments in your life where you had a wake-up call, where you were dropped to your knees, and then you had a change of heart, where you knew that you could no longer continue on the way that you already had been. And we've all had so many of those.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
When you say stuff like that, I go right to the moment in my life, and I think, oh, God, I don't think I'd want to make it public. But I did have one of those moments.
It's very brave. But how long do you work?
wow.
How long did you guys work together for that?
So I was thinking it was 3 months, but actually we had our last rehearsal on Tuesday night and realized we've been together for 5 months. I think
That's a journey.
break, but it has been a journey. It feels like a family with these 8 and with all the dysfunction too.
No doubt.
Pretty and rainbows and kittens. No, we've got all the dysfunction as well. It goes right along with it, but we're learning how we show up and how we voice how we're feeling without abandoning or betraying ourselves, without having to confront or react.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really been a journey.
You're healing people.
And is that the reason it's presented? Is it presented somewhat of a therapy, or that just is a residual effect of it?
I would say it's therapeutic. Just by the way, just as you know, when you share your story, how that feels. Something releases in you, often something heals, especially if you're sharing something that's really important and deep and someone else in the room has like through a similar thing. My God, that's like the best moment, right? Where the little connections are made.
And if I may share my experience with Ann.
Please.
So I performed over at Deep Piazzas a couple times, and then she invited me to be part of the Mixtape Confessions. So I went to the rehearsal, having not experienced you in this element before. And of course, my thing when I get into a group of people I don't know is please don't make us do an icebreaker. What do you think the first thing we did?
Of course. It's Ann Wellman. It's Ann Wellman. You can't get out without dumping your guts on the table.
Yeah, so you show up in this group of people, and I felt kind of like I was there by myself. And by the end of 4 hours of rehearsal, we were a family, and I can't describe how and when that happened.
Yeah.
But we went through this experience. You're going to have to show up and see the story that I'm going to tell. And my other 14 cohorts there are going to tell their amazing stories, each and every one of them entertaining in a different way, whether it's because it's sad or because it's just so resonant, whatever it is. That's going to happen on Friday the 23rd, Saturday the 24th, 2 shows, 8 o'clock. And I'm going to do my story. And I did have a cathartic experience telling it. I had never told a story before about how I got fired in radio for not playing a song. So I told that story. And on the way home, I realized, like a belch, I had let go of something that was inside me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I was like, oh my God, it felt great to tell that story to people. Because you don't share things like that very often with people. Wow. So I can't wait and to share it with you, audience, if you're coming.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject, where can they get tickets?
Yes, absolutely. At the Long Beach Playhouse, they're selling the tickets. So you can go to longbeachplayhouse.com and all 3 shows are available there. I have to say, though, Danny, about your show, it was 5 hours of rehearsal before we became a family. But your story alone, because I just did your slide the other day, it's worth it just to see the slide of the photo that you sent me that's going to be behind you. OMG, your fans need to see you back in the day.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Appropriate tease to get out there and see me at 23 years old.
Wow.
It's wild.
Wow.
But that's part of the experience of telling the story about when, and I'm telling the story about what happened to me at that age. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But does the experience, and I'm thinking, you got into this, did you get into this to affect people's lives the way that you do? Or is this something that happened to you along the way, expressing yourself in theater?
Yeah, I'm going to say it definitely snuck up on me. I am a speech communications and theater arts major. Mm-hmm. So I did go to school for that. Mm-hmm. I taught inner city in Inglewood for 10 years, high school students, and did all of their performing arts and dance. But moving to Long Beach, when I started the Long Beach Community Theater, I thought I was going to do big plays, just plays like Annie or, Chicago, plays that are already published. And I started going to see storytelling shows at that time up in LA, which I loved. So that snuck up on me. I've always loved the story behind the person. So getting to meet all of these, just this one weekend, we have 23 people that are going to be on that stage sharing the story.
Wow, that's something else.
Of people. We're around, this is our 13th year that we've been doing this. Woo. So I met the most incredible people, including Miss Melanie, who's sitting straight across.
Hello.
Right. She got me into it.
Yeah. I've been through the Ann experience several times.
That's really great.
Yes.
That's awesome. So once again, it's going to be the weekend of the 23rd, 24th, and then the 25th is the, what's it called? Wake the F Up, right?
Yeah, wake
yes.
the F Up.
Yeah, and Long Beach Playhouse is where you can find information about that. And also, it's not enough of a busy weekend for you because you have your daughter leaving, right? She's moving away to college.
Our daughters are leaving at the same
no
time
kidding.
to go to the East Coast.
Oh, my God.
There's going to be a lot of drinking and
Domino
playing.
There'll be some new stories coming out.
Yeah, right, more weeping. Well, and another exciting thing we have going is that Ann and I collaborated a few years ago on Still Life, storytelling program, and kind of got our feet wet. And we are bringing it back. Yes. With material from all these things, from Speakeasy Productions at D Piazza and from an At the Top show we did and on upcoming shows. And we're going to be back at it putting storytelling out.
That's really great.
And that's going to be Speakeasy on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and an encore at 10 p.m.
Right here on KLBP?
Right here on KLBP. And that the first day is February 2nd.
Oh, that's a great thing coming up.
So exciting. I love it.
I know.
I can't believe it. You become an industry.
Make that, February 3rd.
All right. We'll wait.
You have become an industry. That's
really
it.
great.
A local treasure and industry.
And thank you so much for coming on the show with us. We will see you. I'll see you in rehearsals on Tuesday night.
Yep. And I'll see you at the show.
I can't wait. I really can't. Because it's a lot easier than stand-up comedy. To get up there and be yourself, it's so much easier.
Right.
I've never experienced that before.
And once you realize that, I think I did my first show and memorized everything and was real body conscious. How would I stand here? And it took me a couple of them to realize, it's just me. It's just me up there telling my story. Right. Yeah. And when I get nervous, as I do every time, I always say, it's my story. I'm just going to tell it.
And that's how I feel. That's
right.
Great.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, really.
Thank you. I love you, my friends, and I'll see you real soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Okay, I think we'll take it home with a song from the Grateful Dead. Now, I'm a semi-deadhead. I've probably seen maybe 20 shows over the last
more than me.
40 years. So
that's semi.
Well, people go to follow them on tour.
Show, yeah.
So so I've seen a bunch of shows, and it's an acquired taste, I will say, but I will say that the loss of this gentleman, Bobby Weir, he was sort of the heart of the Grateful Dead, especially after Jerry Garcia passed, and we lost him this past week. So I thought we'd leave with a Bob Weir Grateful Dead tune.